All right, President Trump, Scott Bessent, Elon Musk, all focused on streamlining the economy. Now, my next guest says that every dollar spent by the government is a dollar not spent by the private sector. Joining me now, Republican Senator from South Carolina, Tim Scott. Senator Scott, you know, all this fear-mongering, tariffs and DOGE, as you can see on the screen, it's beginning to impact the stock market. So I know folks have got to be calling you up because, I mean, you can't watch the news and someone's not scaring people, deliberately in my mind. What are you telling constituents who are obviously concerned?
I got to tell you, the average person in South Carolina, they are excited, enthusiastic about cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. The bottom line is simply this, Charles. It is about time that the federal government spent less so the average person in this country had more money in their pockets. Listen, under President Biden, the average family lost over $1,000 of spending power. It's time to return the money to the American people. That's great news. Not just good news, but great news, Charles.
Speaking of returning money, when it's all said and done, depending on how much DOGE gets from those sofa cushions, would you be in favor of sending out a check, maybe $5,000?
Yeah, I've heard that. Here's what we should do. We should finish our Tax Cuts and Jobs Act 2.0 so that the average American doesn't get a $5,000 check back. And last time, they had $6,000 more in their paychecks to spend. Let's just not set a goal of $5,000. Let's make sure they get every single penny they deserve. It's their money. Don't take it from them. You don't have to give it back to them.
You know, speaking of fear-mongering, and you just brought up the tax bill, the media is having a field day here as well, right? They're saying that Republicans in the House and the Senate, they can't get it together. I mean, talk to us about the finish line. Is it in sight? I mean, this would be a hell of a thing to fumble away.
Charles, you can count on President Trump to deliver for the American people. That means the House and the Senate, the old-fashioned sausage factory, will come together. The process is ugly. That's okay. It doesn't matter whether it's one beautiful bill or two. What matters is that we secure our border. It's the promise President Trump made. It's a promise we're going to keep. What matters is that we fund our military. President Trump made the promise. We're going to keep that promise. He promised to deliver on energy independence. We're going to see the greatest transformation in energy markets in the history of this country because President Trump promised it. He's going to deliver.
Right.
I'm excited to get the job done.
Senator, no one cheered louder for the Trump victory than small business owners. We saw it in the data right away, right? They've been getting the short end of the stick for a long time. You've introduced a bill to help them out. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, the bottom line is simply this. We need to make it easier for small businesses to succeed. My legislation allows us to raise more capital, put more investment in communities, create more jobs, have a higher standard of living, all because the American dream is possible in Idaho, as it is in South Carolina, as it is in, frankly, all the states across this country. What we're going to see is a revolution, a blue-collar comeback brought to you by the Republicans, led by Donald Trump.
Speaking of this sort of optimism that you just described, this sort of this era of meritocracy boiling up to the top, you're developing talent and opportunities within the black community to focus on black excellence. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, well, Charles, one of the things we need to recognize is when my grandfather was born in 1921 in the Deep South, there were not many opportunities for him. I'm so thankful he lived long enough to watch his grandson become a member of the United States Senate. Why is that possible? It's possible because America always goes in the right direction. Decade after decade, progress is made. So we're going to focus on making sure the average person living in poverty, black or white, they have more access to resources. I have a plan that will increase over $1 trillion of economic activity in the hardest hit economic areas of our country, disproportionately minority, but we're not leaving anybody out because everybody deserves to live their version of the American dream. And that's great news. From capital formation to home ownership to education, we're going to get the job done.
Senator Scott, you've been doing this for a while. You've always kept your promises, and you're a superstar. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charles. I look forward to coming back.
Me too. Thanks.